In this video, I'm going to complete what we call a food web quest. There are several of these in the game. In fact, every biodome, except for the marine biodome, has 2 food web quests that you can complete. This one starts with Farah in the Mojave biodome. I'm going to talk to her. I'll accept the quest. The first part of any food web quest is to collect a bunch of poop. Get used to collecting poop. There's a lot of quests where you gotta collect poop in this game. That's science. It's not every type of science. That's not like brain science or, planetary science, but some types of science. There's a lot of poop collection. I suppose that the proper term is scat, but we call it poop because that's more fun to say. How do I find where the poop is, you might be wondering? You can look at your map, and quest items are these little yellow dots. So in any type of quest, if you see a little yellow dot in the map, it means that that's the item that you're trying to go for. This blue circle here, that's a quest zone. That means that all of the items are located within this zone. I've got a little further to walk. I can also check my compass to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. It says that I'm here. And look! The blue circle has turned green. So that now I really know that I'm here. Alright, so there's a bunch of poop for us to collect. In our quest tracker here, I can see that we have to collect 5 pieces of poop. We've collected 0 so far. So I'll just click on all the poop I see. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Adequate. Thanks, dear. Now I'm going to return to Farah in the Mojave biodome. I could walk, but I can also click on this handy dandy little button. This blue door will always take you to the beginning of any level. This is a little easier than walking everywhere. I'm going to click on this, and there, right next to Farah again. Through this dialogue section. You should read this when it is your time to play the quest. You should totally read all of this, but I wrote it, so I don't have to read it. Alright. Now we're on phase 2 of this food web quest, which is going through the biodome and using our tranquilizer on animals. We're then going to get some DNA samples to figure out who left which poop. I'm going to travel out into the biodome here. Now I have to look for animals who might be likely candidates for the poopers. I'm going to pull up my map here, but all I see is a token that marks where I am. I don't see any of the animals that I'm supposed to be looking for. That's because in a food web quest, we have to sort of use the process of elimination to figure out which animals we're looking for. This icon is the Analyzer tool. I can pull it up here. If I click on one of these drop-down menus, in the mule deer poop, there was gaeta grass and cactus fruit seeds. In the coyote poop, there was some unidentified fur, as well as cactus fruit seeds. This lets me know that coyotes are omnivores. Fur only comes from animals, so they must have eaten an animal. And a cactus fruit is, of course, a fruit. That means that coyotes will eat fruits and animals. If I look at the cougar poop, I can see that there's a bone fragment and some unidentified fur. This means that cougars must be carnivores. Bones are only found in animals, as is fur. So I'm going to be looking to tranquilize whatever animals left these fragments. There are 3 animals in here, so using the process of elimination, I think I'm looking for a mule deer, a coyote, and a cougar. Well, I know where the mule deer are. They're over here, because I was just there. Go over to the mule deer. In order to get a DNA sample from any animal in the game, you'll have to use your tranquilizer first, because we don't want to be taking DNA from animals that are just walking around living their lives. That is inhumane. There's one thing that we don't do, it's being inhumane to pretend animals. So I'm going to use my tranquilizer here. There's a green dome. That'll show me where I'm about to use my tranquilizer. It looks like a snowball, so this dome will basically tell me where I'm going to throw my snowball. I'm going to throw it over these deer here. Aha, so now they've got these little snowflakes on them. That means they're tranquilized. I'm going to select the deer and then use the DNA extractor. DNA match mule deer. Good for me. You'll notice that the DNA extractor icon is missing now. That's because nothing is tranquilized. You'll only see the DNA icon appear if something has been tranquilized first. We're real sticklers about that. Because like I said, you can't be stealing DNA from animals when they're not tranquilized. That's just wrong. Now I'm going to walk around the biodome for a little while. I'm going to look for a coyote and I'm going to look for a cougar. I can tranquilize and get their DNA. I'm going to check my analyzer again. Oh, look at that. Guess I found everything that was in the coyote poop. We already knew about the cactus fruit seeds, but now we see that the coyote ate a mule deer. There's still an unidentified bone fragment in the cougar poop. I'll tell you right now, it's not another cougar. There isn't any cannibalism in the game. Cannibalism does occur in nature at times, but we decided not to model that in the game. That means that the cougar probably ate a coyote. Here's a hint. We're going to be making a food web later. We already got DNA from the mule deer, and it showed up in the coyote poop. Since there's still something unidentified in the cougar poop, that means, by the process of elimination, it must be a coyote. So I'm looking for a coyote now. Aha! There you are. Alright. I'm going to close my chat box here so that I can have some more room. Use my tranquilizer on the coyote. Freeze. Ha ha ha. And then I'm going to use my DNA extractor. We've got a DNA match. Now I need to return to Supervisor Farah in the desert biodome, since I've gotten all the DNA that I need. I'm going to use this little blue door icon again to do that. There she is. I'm going to go through this dialogue. Now I have to create this food web. I can use the analyzer info that I was looking at earlier. I can pull this up, and I can put it to the side here. This will remind me what each animal was eating. This is my food web pane. Here are all the different plants and animals that are a part of this food web. What I need to do is drag arrows from one species to the species that eats it. I need to remember who eats what, though. I'm going to pull up mule deer. Mule deer eat galleta grass and cactus fruit. That means I'm going to take galleta grass and cactus fruit. I'm putting them over here so I have a little more space to work. I'm going to click on this plus sign and then drag it over to mule deer, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing to cactus fruit. Perfect. Now I'm going to look at the coyote poop. Coyotes eat mule deer and cactus fruit. So I'm going to drag, again, an arrow from cactus fruit to coyote and from mule deer to coyote. Now let's look at the cougar poop. We've got mule deer fur and coyote bones. So I'm going to take the coyote, drag it onto cougar, and the mule deer, drag it onto cougar. Now you see why they call it a food web. It's all tangled. Food webs are useful diagrams because they show the interdependence of different species within ecosystems. If you remove the mule deer, for instance, who would eat the galleta grass? The cougar would have to rely on coyotes only for food. You can really disrupt an ecosystem by taking just one part out of it, and food webs help to show us that. When you're pretty confident that you've gotten all of the different connections that you're going to need, you can hit Submit for Review. Let's say that I made a bad connection. Cactus fruit does not eat cougars. I could remove this arrow by clicking on the little chevron here. An X pops up. I can click the X and that'll get rid of the line. If I've really messed up and I need to redo my entire chart, I can hit Clear Chart and start from scratch. But I'm going to hit Submit for Review. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Flawless data. Good job. Thanks, Farah. I'm going to hit Complete now. And that's pretty much the end of the quest. The last phase is just talking to Farah to wrap up. And now you know not only how to do a food web quest, but how to use your tranquilizer and your DNA analyzer in the wild.